I stood there staring at my wife as she casually scrolled through her phone, her demeanor detached. The realization hit me like a cold wind. There was no room booked for me. It wasn't an oversight, it was deliberate. They had planned everything meticulously, except for one detail: my inclusion. My name, missing from the itinerary, wasn't a mistake. I asked her calmly at first, "Where's my room?" expecting this to be some misunderstanding, a minor slip we'd laugh about later, but her expression told me otherwise. She didn't flinch. Instead, she shrugged, her tone dripping with indifference. "You'll manage, right? It's not a big deal." Her words echoed in my head, but before I could fully grasp them, one of her friends chimed in. "Honestly, only the important people get rooms. It's just how it is. You'll understand." A chorus of laughter followed, each chuckle landing like a slap across my face. My wife didn't defend me or explain. She sat there, silent, as if their words carried no harm. The room felt smaller, suffocating, the air thick with their smugness. It wasn't the lack of a room that stung. It was the lack of respect. They weren't just excluding me from the vacation. They were erasing me from my role in her life, belittling me in plain sight. Her friends lounged on the sofa, expensive, handbags perched beside them, drinks in hand. Their dismissive glances said it all. They thought they had the upper hand, like I was some outsider encroaching on their exclusive little circle. "I guess I'll leave then," I said, my voice steady, betraying none of the turmoil inside me. Their laughter faltered, replaced with surprised glances, as if they hadn't expected me to walk away. My wife blinked, caught off guard, but she didn't stop me. She didn't say a word. I walked past them, each step heavy, refusing to look back. As the door closed behind me, my phone buzzed. First one call, then another. I ignored them all. Their laughter still rang in my ears, but I didn't let it consume me. This wasn't the end of the conversation. It was the beginning of something they weren't prepared for. Downstairs, I sat in the living room, their muffled laughter continuing above me. My phone buzzed again, and I finally answered. It wasn't my wife. It was one of her friends. "You're being a bit dramatic, don't you think?" Her voice was syrupy, the kind people use when they're pretending to care. "It's just a trip. Not everyone gets a room. The resort has couches. You could sleep there." Her condescension was palpable, like I was a child who couldn't handle teasing. "I'm not coming back," I said simply, and hung up. Moments later, another call came through, a video call this time. Against my better judgment, I answered. The same group of friends huddled on the couch, my wife in the middle, her expression indifferent. One of them, the loudest of the bunch, grinned. "We were just talking about you," she said, as if that was supposed to make me feel included. "Don't be such a buzzkill, okay? Vacations are for the important people in the group and, well, you're not exactly the star of this one." She laughed, and the others followed, even my wife. Her laugh wasn't malicious, but it wasn't apologetic either. It was the kind of laugh that said, "I'm going along with them because it's easier than standing up for you." "You're right," I said finally, my voice even. "I'm not the star of your group. Enjoy the trip." Before they could respond, I ended the call. Their mockery lingered, but I was too tired to care. It wasn't anger I felt. It was something colder, sharper. Their laughter had cut deep. But what stayed with me was the realization that the person I trusted most had chosen her audience over her partner. Upstairs, I packed a duffel bag in silence, grabbing essentials. Every item I tossed in felt like another piece of myself I was trying to reclaim. When I was done, I turned to leave, but paused, noticing a framed photo on the nightstand, our wedding day, full of smiles and happiness. I stared at it, remembering a time when we were a team. Setting the frame face down, I left the room. Downstairs, their laughter continued. As I walked past, one friend smirked. "Guess he can't handle the heat." More laughter followed, forced and hollow. I stepped outside, letting the door close behind me. The night air was cold and crisp, a welcome contrast to the suffocating atmosphere inside. I drove aimlessly for hours, letting the quiet hum of the engine drown out my thoughts. Eventually, I stopped at a small roadside diner. The place was quiet, with only a few customers scattered in the booths. I slid into a corner seat, ordered a coffee, and stared at my phone. Missed calls and texts piled up, but I ignored them. The coffee was hot, bitter, and exactly what I needed. As I contemplated my next move, whether to find a hotel or leave town for a few days, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text from my wife. Not an apology, not an explanation. Just 3 words. You need to answer. At the hospital, the waiting room was heavy with silence. My wife and her friends sat huddled together, guilt etched on their faces. I stayed apart, arms crossed, watching from a distance. When the doctor finally arrived, he announced the injured friend had pulled through surgery but would need a long recovery. Relief swept through the group. Eventually, my wife approached me, her voice soft and trembling. I know I can't fix this tonight, but I need you to know I'm sorry for everything. I stared at her for a moment, then replied, You didn't. Just exclude me from a trip. You excluded me from your life tonight. Do you even know how that felt? Tears welled in her eyes. I was wrong, she admitted. I let them influence me. I didn't stand up for you. I'll show you I can change. I promise. I nodded, but kept my voice firm. Words won't erase what happened. I need to see it. When the group turned to me as if expecting more, I cut through their silence. I'll take you home, I told my wife. The rest of you can figure out your own rides. Her friends looked stunned but didn't argue. My wife nodded quietly and followed me to the car. The drive back was silent, reflective. As we pulled into the driveway, I turned to her. Things need to change, I said. Not just tonight, but for good. She nodded, tears glistening. They will. I swear they will. I walked inside, leaving her to follow. The night had been long, but it wasn't. The end of our story. Just the beginning of a new chapter, one where actions would determine our future.